Sometimes the world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of your Heroes of Noise. I am one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Steve.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Dan, and welcome to episode 171 of Heroes of Noise. Steve, we should be like well into the 190s at this point. I take responsibility for that. I apologize. Sorry.
Dude, stop.
I don't want to start off with an apology. I'm just saying that we should be like one. I'm not apologizing to these people. I'm apologizing to you. We should be like 190 right now.
Hey, all in time, friend.
We'll get there.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and 190 is going to be quite the show.
I think 200 will be the show. 190 is going to be like another show, I think.
What do we do for 100?
We had a whole bunch of people on. A whole bunch of people. I think we'll do it again, maybe. But you may have But you might have to come over to the house this time.
Oh.
Maybe if you're up for it. I don't know if you're still fearing the plague. You should.
I'm not. I will wear a mask. But what was the time we had everybody on and it didn't record?
Oh, that was the last episode of The Word, man. Fuck.
You were so mad.
So mad, dude. So mad. I think we recorded for like 5 hours or something.
Oh, it was a very long recording. And it was so fun that remember I got back into the car and kept on recording.
Yeah, we talked to people that like we never have talked to since.
Dude.
And it's just all gone. All of it. So podcasters, if you're just getting started, listen, you're going to fuck up one day. It's just the way it works.
Oh, yes.
But welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't about
Absolutely.
This isn't to celebrate fuck up, Steve. This is to celebrate the Halloween season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily a Halloween show, but you know, who knows what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks here because Hallows Eve approaches, Steve. I will start off with one bit of a it's not a confession. I think it's more of a proclamation of defeat, if you will.
What happened?
I'm tapping out. No Halloween Horror Nights for me this year.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about that, actually.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Check this out.
All right.
So you already know the plumbing thing.
Yeah.
We don't even need to get
Well,
into
I
that.
figured that was probably going to be the main deterrent for you.
I didn't think it was going to be as expensive as it was.
Hit me with a number, dude. You always make me do the numbers.
Oh, $600.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, you were thinking
but it's not. No, it's not done.
Oh, okay. Just so far, you've spent $600.
So far, it's still like home insurance is coming in to assess the damage underneath the boards.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. And then my son comes into the room. He's like, "You didn't get my text?" I said, "No." It was like 12 midnight. He's like, "Yeah, my car started overheating." I'm like, "Well, I gotta fix that."
Okay, hold on a second. Let's talk about that for just a second. So the car started overheating, which means he's probably got like a radiator issue.
I thought it was just his coolant looked a little low. I filled up his oil, and it still overheats once he starts driving. When it's just idling, nothing. When he starts driving, it happens.
You're not doing that nonsense where you're putting water in the radiator instead of coolant.
No, I had actual coolant.
Sometimes you got to do that though to get you out of a bind to get from
question.
here to there. But
no question. But yeah, it just overheats, and so we're towing it to a place tomorrow. He was gonna go to Michael's, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe not.
So you're gonna make him pay for it?
Pay me back. He just got his new job
At the Filet-O-Shiki.
yeah. And so I was just like, hey, just handle your business. And I'm paying for him to get around. And you know, those months where it seems like money's just flying out of the.
It's pretty much every month of my life. At least lately. Jesus Christ. Every time I get a good supply going, it's all gone again.
How does that happen? It's almost like the universe knows when you have a good, like, oh, I'm good. And then one month they're like, wrong.
Somebody upstairs, up high in the sky is like, hey, watch me fuck up this come up right here. Watch.
Dude, listen, bro. And you know what? The thing is, I had to realize, hey, at least I am able to pay it. I couldn't imagine if I couldn't. I'm just able to pay it. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit pricey on the other end. One good thing is my insurance people are wonderful. The person that's in charge of my case, she's very nice. She told me straight up, she's like, look, we'll pay for the labor for your plumbing, but we're not going to pay for the parts. We don't do that. I was like, no problem. And she said, everything else, I'm going to send out an emergency crew because sitting water is not good. So we're sending out an emergency crew ASAP to get the water cleaned out and all that stuff. And then we're going to send a construction crew to get out there and assess damages and fix it up. And you'll just only have to pay the deductible.
Have you heard the word wood rot yet?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. Always a good sign. But see, that's kind of cool because they charge so much for labor you're getting a better deal, I think.
It's going to be fine. Well, the thing is, worst case, even if, like she said, like the foundation's all, she's like, hey, that's part of insurance. What are you going to do? He's like, we just got to, get in there and find out what damages are, and we're just going to handle the business.
This is perfect, though, because that's what you pay for, right? Otherwise, you're just giving money away the entire time. So at least if you have to go through this, at least it's covered and you're kind of getting your money, not necessarily back, but it feels like it's well spent at this point, maybe.
Bingo. And that's what I think if nothing happens for the next 20 years, they're like, oh, that was a cheap thing because we still got money from that dude for the next 20 years. We're good. Have fun. And so, it's just money has been siphoning out. And it's like, man, I can't do anything this year. Christmas is how many days away?
I don't even want to talk about Christmas right now. Let's get through Halloween and Thanksgiving first.
Have you got your costume?
You asked me that already, Steve. I'm not going to dress the fuck up. Where am I going to go, Steve? Can't go to Hollywood Horror Nights.
Gee, I'm talking about when kids come up to your door.
No.
You're going to just look normal?
Fucking A. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll answer the door.
This guy, dude.
I told you, every year we start getting towards this. I'm the guy that wants to hang out on my roof basically and throw raw chicken livers at them or something,
You say roof.
My roof, yes. What now? What now?
Say
Steve?
Roof.
You say roof?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good for you. Tomato. Let's move on.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. You're always analyzing me, Steve, and I'm not really.
I am not.
Ladies and gentlemen, is he? I know you can't answer directly, but this shit is true. But sometimes I'll just say something and it comes out and I'll immediately repeat myself because I know I done fucked up. That wasn't the case. I think a lot of people say roof, Steve.
Oh, no question. I thought roof is what a dog does.
No, that's rough.
That's roof.
Rough. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's what we've gotten to now. That's what the Heroes of Noise has been reduced to. Dan barking on a microphone.
Speaking of which, before we get forward into the show, how is the wonderful young woman doing in college?
That's a really good question, Steve. I wish I knew the answer to that.
She ghosted you?
Gee, we got ghosted. You raise this kid, right? You try to do the right things. You try to get them to be on the path to success. You make sure that they're nourished and cared for and medically, they're medically sound.
Absolutely.
Well educated. And then you send them off and they're so grateful at first. And then you're texting for the first week and you're getting all the details about, I'm fitting in and, this is what my normal routine is. And I don't really have a lot of friends just yet, but I'm working on it. And then you start seeing a few pictures pop up on social media. Like, oh, you got friends now.
There we go.
You got friends now. And then it's like texting you. Basically, I'll just text and then nothing. Maybe 2 days later, I'll get a GIF.
Oh, don't you say stuff about texting back then.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry to make it
not you.
It was just very much Steve-like the way she's treating me right now.
Dan's been he'll be like, hey, Happy New Year, 2019. I'm like, gee, I sent that quite a ways.
All right, you got to stop.
Time ago.
You've got to stop.
You're bad at texting back, bro. I'm really good comparatively. You're not great.
Here's the deal, though. So, we're going to start measuring our dicks over texting. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough into your ear. But
I thought that was a laugh. You're like,
no, it was a kind of a combination of both.
Jeez,
fighting back.
dude.
I'm still sick. It's fucking crazy.
I hear it, bro.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Dude. I think I'm going to die. But anyway, what was I saying? So it's the quality, not necessarily the quantity of the text, dude. You know what I mean? I'll hit you back with information.
You will.
And a thorough text of what's on my mind. I might even answer stuff from a couple texts before. But yeah, so they're not as frequent, but you get the information. I will send you hey, let's do these 9 to 15 things over the next 3 months.
Dope.
What do you think? And then I'll just get a GIF of Mike Tyson. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. I know I'm important to you.
You made my day with that news. I told you. People are going to start realizing she's a freaking star, and now it's happening.
So they put her in the role of Lucifer.
Hey, it begins. Everyone else been, she couldn't play Wonder Woman. Okay.
Wonder Woman ain't Lucifer, G.
I understand. As a matter of fact, Lucifer is a harder role to play.
Can you say that for sure?
For sure.
I just think it's look at me, I'm Lucifer, my pitchfork, and got wings and shit.
No, it's the duality.
I'm Beelzebub. You know what? Speaking of the Dark Lord, it's been a while since he's been around, man. I think I don't like to do this a lot, but I think in the coming days, I'm going to go ahead and try to channel him, and maybe we can have him on the show. I would do it today, but I know that he's going to talk through me, and I still don't have the voice for it. So if you catch my drift, we'll do it next time.
Here's the thing. I think that we should definitely have maybe he'd want to interview you. I'd be very interested in how that would roll.
I see, ladies and gentlemen, here's another prime example of Steve sidestepping future endeavors that we have to do.
I think it's fun. Every time he shows up, every time he shows up, I have a visual in my head, and that shows how much Preacher made an impact on me.
Yeah, that's all I see.
I only see that.
But
but
you got to understand, it really is him, though. That's him. I don't know how he embodied this character that some actor played, but it totally is that guy.
It's total. Dude,
so if you want to know what the Dark Lord looks like, just look up Preacher Satan, and I don't know. I don't think they're the same people, but he certainly looks that way. Sure.
And the funny thing is, they decided to use him for a whole, 3.5 minutes.
What a waste. What a fucking waste, man.
You don't even we were so excited.
What a waste. Read the comic. You know what, though? I love the show, but read the comic. Anyway, Steve.
Anyway, we're actually going to do actual reviews today, people.
We have some shit to talk about for sure, yeah.
A lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, let's not get carried away, Steve. We're not doing a 9-hour show. This is probably going to be a little compact 90-minute gem for your ears.
Oh, I thought I had an hour of Gwendolyn Christie information.
Oh, please.
I guess I got to
proceed. So really quick, I just want to make sure, because I think you gave me the answer to what you were saying, but you never really talked about it. You are out of Halloween Horror Nights 2.
I cannot afford it. Well, not saying I'm like, hey, I ain't saying she's a gold digger. I'm not saying I just would rather save money right now.
I don't even remember the houses that are there. So the mazes, whatever you want to call them. You know what? I'm just going to...
Here's the funny thing. I haven't even heard... Remember the year that we didn't go, it was all over Twitter? Everything was Halloween Horror Nights. No one's talking about it. I think people are scared. I think people are scared to get together right now and go into enclosed areas with other people right now.
Not in Florida. Did you see a video in Florida, the Halloween Horror Nights, where somebody cut the line? They went to go get a beer, right? And then they cut back in line, and all hell broke loose. Dude. There was like a massive fight.
Hey, you should be able to do that.
It just depends on how you're doing it. Like if your whole group leaves and then tries to cut back in line, I think that's a foul. No, I think that's a foul. Unless you've kind of got this rapport with the people that are in front of and back of you.
No, you're right.
Because then it's like,
I'm going to go get a beer.
And it's like, hey, I got you. You need to go to the restroom or something. I got you. That's different. But I think what happened was, and I could be wrong about this because there really wasn't that much context. I think somebody just like stepped out of the line, came back, and then some Florida person decided to be a dick.
You're in Florida, dude. You never...
Floridian? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Because for me, I would do this number. I'd say, hey, I'm going to go get a few drinks. Can you save my space? Be like, yeah. And I'd say, any of you want something?
I'd be like, no.
They're going to say no.
Yeah.
They're going to say no.
No, thank you. Exactly. I don't want you drugging my drink, you asshole.
Oh, yeah. I did. In Florida, they're not thinking about that. They'll be like, I live on this.
Can you put some ivermectin in there?
They'll be like, this is just a beer. I'm like, yeah, that's what there's nothing in it? I'm like, no, I just gave you a beer. Shoot. Bummer.
You ain't got a Red Bull chaser or nothing?
You know what I've been
I don't know why they have Southern accents in my head, but for some reason
I think Florida does have.
Do they?
No?
I don't think so. Think of let's talk about some of our friends. Kova doesn't have an accent. He's from Florida. So does Steve.
He has an accent.
But it's not like what we're doing. It's not a Southern drawl type thing.
Is Steve from Florida?
They're both from Florida. They live like down the street from each other.
I did not know that.
I think they're pretty close anyway.
Oh.
They actually work together in the same house.
Well, the thing is, I don't think is Steve originally from Florida.
Man, I don't know. You writing a book?
Exactly. Yes, I am. I'm writing a book called Is Steve from Florida? And I'm going to rate it a 10. Of course, because why wouldn't I?
Hold on. I'm getting a memory. It's coming back. I don't think he is.
Oh, wait a minute.
I think he might be from the New Jersey, New York area.
Oh.
With his lovely cousin Ann.
Oh.
She's great. You ever met Ann on a Cinecast?
No.
She's fantastic. Hi, Ann. How are you? A little shout out to Ann.
Look at you knowing all these people. I'm not in the know.
I try to socialize.
I'm not in the know.
I try to recognize people's voices that I record with more than once. Particularly when they have the most unique voice ever.
Gee, it was an hour in, bro.
Talking to you, Melissa. You know that though.
Melissa stopped though. She was like, "Wait a minute. how long did it take you to realize? I'm like, right now when I'm saying it, because she thought maybe I'm just mentioning it then. And I was like, no, just now. I realized, because they kept on saying Melissa. And I was like, I know a Melissa. I'm like, perhaps this is Slaughterhouse. And I said, is this Slaughterhouse? She's like, yeah. Yeah.
But it could literally be somebody going, hey, Steve. And you'd just be like, do I know you? Like, I've recorded with you 9 times. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. I know. I would have to do the Jim Carrey thing. Yes, Satan.
Yes. You call her Satan? That's messed up, dude.
No, I'm talking about the voice you just did.
I don't know, G. Maybe I'm going to edit that out and just make you sound bad.
Slaughterhouse was like, are you freaking kidding me?
I said the same thing when you told me. I really did.
But it was funny. All of us had a
Did you have a chuckle?
A chuckle. I had a huge chuckle. I laughed super duper duper hard.
Hey, real quick, before we move along, and we will start doing the reviews right now because we kind of have to hurry up here.
Yeah.
But I don't want to set the pace of hurrying up. I just need to let y'all know. I wanted to, speaking of spoilers, Steve, he was on the most recent episode of Startcast. Did you know this?
I did not. I imagine he gave something a 10.
Listen, Steve's a really interesting motherfucker. Like those two talking together, something about Joe can bring out the conversation. Because he's got this fantastic gift of gab, which I wish I had. I don't. But he and Steve together, they had, a little bit of history there. They've recorded multiple times together. I'm sure they recognize each other's voices.
Of course.
Very, very interesting conversation. It's a fun listen. So I recommend you check out the latest episode of Startcast, where featuring our friend Spoiler Steve.
I am absolutely in. Steve is both of them are interesting. One of them wrote one of the best zombie books that I've read in a while, man. Like, it's just really good.
I Become Death by Joe Stark. Jay Stark, I believe it's you know how like Stephen King has his thing where he's Richard Bachman. Yeah, I believe that it's Joe is just going by Jay Stark. So spoilers.
I love that book. And I was so mad when he's like, yeah, there's not going to be a second one. I'm like, well, that would have been nice to know before the freaking cliffhanger.
He talks about why he's not really on that right now. I think you already know, but he does go into a little bit of detail of why he's not really going down the road of a sequel for I Become Death. He's got a whole other thing going on, man. Yeah, he does. There's no question about that. Joseph Stark, ladies and gentlemen. Check him out. He's fantastic. All right, you ready to talk?
I'm absolutely. There was something you were saying that he was going to be on he was on the show. He did the spoiler.
Did I forget to say something?
No, it was something that you brought to mind. You spoiler, Steve. I forgot, man.
You know what, Steve? I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that maybe it is though. So if it comes back to you, you just let me know.
I will definitely do that. I will definitely do that. Dang, I'm still befuddled that he's from Florida. Funny things.
I don't think he is. Now that
I'm saying like he lives there.
Yeah, that befuddles the shit out of me if anyone living in Florida. But hey, that's what we're kind of we're not being very fair to our Florida listeners right now. They're in a situation, Steve. They can't help it.
Well, the thing is, at least they could afford housing out there. California's getting to the point. Like everybody that they said, hey, guess how much my house is worth? I'm like, what, $600,000? I'm like, doesn't matter, does it? He's like, nope, because I couldn't buy another house if I sold it. So there's no point. He's like, you're just sitting on money you can never use regardless. So I'm like, yeah, there's no point. There's just no point. Who cares?
Where I hear it's the getting's good. It's really cheap over there, but you might have some issues. North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Very cheap over there. You can buy a badass house over there for very cheap.
The
South. It's the South.
But you know what? Atlanta, I really liked. I loved Atlanta.
Did you feel like an Atlian?
I did. I actually freaking did. There's a vibe that's out there that's really cool. I think you would like Atlanta a lot, especially because of the housing prices. You'd be like, I can buy what for how much? It would be crazy. And since you have a profession that you could use anywhere, there's nothing keeping you here. I don't understand it.
Family, basically.
Oh, well, you know what? That is true.
It's a pretty big reason.
African-American mother. I feel you. This is true.
She's a beautiful woman. What can I say?
That she is.
What can I say? So that makes me makes me African-American too, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, there's some history back there.
I told you, 1% Congo.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Did you do your blood work?
Bro, you're really forgetful, but I know we talk about a lot of shit. Yeah, I did my blood work. You gave me a bunch of shit about this.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if people go, does Steve ever pay attention to anything? But I don't know. Yeah. So 1% Congo, bro.
Look at you. I know where that came from.
There's a lot of mystery with that woman. It's possible.
When I saw that picture, I was like, time the hell. And you didn't even like, oh, this is going to shock you. Nope. I just look that you just were from her is like, wow, the melanin just escaped.
You just had a Bill Cosby you right now. You! Need to take this drink. No, don't drink it. Don't drink it.
Oh, man.
You need to relax on the couch.
Isn't he free?
Well, I'm sure he's
He's
expensive
not in
to
jail
book.
anymore.
No. And he's, who was he talking about recently? Oh, yeah, he was defending R. Kelly.
Oh, surprise. Surprise.
How come, like, birds of a feather stick together? You know what I mean?
How come comedians are losing their minds?
I don't know. The whole world's
I'm
losing
gonna
its
let it
mind.
go.
Yeah.
I am gonna let it.
It's time and a place, you know?
Yeah, let's play. Let's go move on.
Let's talk about movies. We won't even talk about how your homie Jeff Bezos sent Shatner to space today. Not today.
In space, G?
Technically, yes.
Oh,
they
that's
achieved
some bull
weightlessness.
jive. Oh.
If you achieve weightlessness, I think you're in space. Yeah.
Or just falling really fast.
And it's hella quick, too. That's the thing. Like, they shot him up there. I was watching the video, and it probably took, like, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe 12 minutes or something like that to get to, you know, past the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And then they showed the inside of the capsule once I'm not a big, you know, aeronautical kind of guy, so I don't really know like the parts and everything. But once the rocket separates and the main hatch, if you will, is floating out there, it showed them all weightless. And when they came back down, I got to tell you, I think William Shatner is kind of a prick. Only the reason I say that is because I've seen the guy be really rude to people at a con before, right? And I've heard some things. But what I'm saying is that when the man came down and Bezos goes to greet him, he did this like 7-minute conversation with him. I was watching it on Twitter, and it was really sweet. Like, he was so moved by all of that, because you got to think it's like nothing you've ever experienced before. You know, you can sit by a green screen all damn day and pretend you're in space, but when you're actually in space and, you know, you just don't happen to really be Captain Kirk, that's got to be pretty overwhelming. And it was really neat watching him cry and just, you know, as a 90-year-old man, because it's like,
oh, absolutely.
You know, he was like, there's nothing in my life this is ever going to top, or that will ever top this, rather.
No,
So-
it's a situation like, first of all, I don't know exactly what they did to get him prepared for that. Cause like, it doesn't seem like he suffered any space adaptation sickness. He was perfectly fine when he came back. Maybe it was just so quick that he didn't get sick.
I would think that it's because it's so quick. I don't think that they're in space for not even an hour.
Your insides going weightless, your insides are like, what is happening out there?
Yeah.
But apparently it just wasn't long enough to make him sick. But he came back apparently fine. In my brain, I was like, this could go really, really.
That's what I said. I mean, it's always a good idea to send a 90-year-old man into space.
Dude, G-Force alone.
Yeah.
That G-Force, how was he able to, I want the story behind how was he staying conscious for that G-Force to push him into space?
I don't know, but can we change our production name? Like, I think we need a production name, Steve. Like our team production name, and I think we should call ourselves G-Force.
Oh, wow.
No, not feeling
Because
that.
I am a G.
Yeah, and I am a force, and I'm a
to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I don't know. Never mind. I take it all back because I wanted to be a G too. I was hoping you were gonna be like, because we're a couple of G, and I'd be like, yes, but it didn't really work out that way. So you just thought of yourself.
You would have been a G
again.
had you had more of your mom's skin tone. Sorry,
So I'm not okay. 3 years ago, someone got invited to a cookout. Guess I'm not invited anymore. Made my famous potato salad and everything. Fine, sir. Fine.
Potatoes. Would you make it in the egg? Your potatoes.
How do you make a potato salad and an egg, Steve? You're being ridiculous right now. You can
Yes,
put
you can
put eggs
bake the
into
potatoes. You could you could bake the potatoes in your egg.
You're being ridiculous right now. Stop it.
You know, now let me tell you something. My friend from work, he only makes potatoes in his grill. He will never use an oven. He only uses his grill for potatoes.
That's a
He
waste
told
of
me
charcoal.
that's the only way I should do it. He's like, you should only make potatoes on a grill only. Don't ever use an oven.
You tell him to fuck right off with that.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
You grillers are like serious. But anyway.
Yes, sorry. We'll try this again.
To the convo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, have you watched anything? I know you have. Watched anything that I haven't watched that you feel is just like a quick, noteworthy mention?
No, I will not do. No, there's nothing for a quick mention. No.
Okay. Well, I want to consider this to be like a public service announcement.
Okay.
Really quickly. I know you haven't seen this yet, but I came across a movie on Netflix by the name of There's Someone Inside Your House. Have you heard of it, Steve?
No.
Really? You haven't?
Oh, wait, I have. but I haven't seen a commercial or anything. I only seen it because Spoiler Steve gave it like a 12.
Don't they go to 10? You're not kind. You're not kind to that guy. Seriously, man. Steve, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about this guy. He's just always got it out for somebody. At least it's not me this week. We'll see.
It's been Steve for a while now.
There's Someone Inside Your House now on Netflix. It dropped on October 6th. The graduating class at Osborne High is being targeted by a masked assailant, intent on exposing the darkest secret of each victim. And only a group of misfit outsiders can stop the killings. This movie's directed by Patrick Bryce and written by Stephanie Perkins. Well, it's actually based on her novel by Stephanie Perkins. And screenplay was by Henry Gayden. Stars Sidney Park, Theodore Pellerin, and Aisha Cooper, I believe her name is. I'm just going to do this really quickly, Steve. This movie is absolute trash. It's just, it is just trash. I mean, with this time of year, you get a lot of these type of movies, but what this movie wanted to be, I think I could relate it to, say, like Scream or something like that. It was kind of like a Scream vibe. It wanted to be Scream, but it's just not Scream. Same idea. You've got this mysterious killer who's killing all these people that have these dark and dirty secrets. One of them happens to be a kind of a, well, I guess you can call her a white supremacist. She has a podcast, and she's got that. Other ones, well, I don't want to really tell in case anybody watches this, but they all have their little dark secret. And the way that this guy goes about killing people, this person goes about killing people, is they put on a mask of the person that they're going to kill, like a 3D printed mask. Okay. Yeah. And you know that because it shows it right at the beginning of the, like the credits. It shows.
That's what got you the 3D printing there,
I was like,
buddy.
Okay, all right. I was, I don't know if you know this or not, but it's kind of my thing right now.
I'm in.
And honestly, I think the best thing about this movie is the 3D print because look, here's the thing. When the killer is eventually apprehended, as one does get in these types of movies, he goes off on a monologue. And the dumbest line he says, but honestly is probably the truest part of the movie, is when he goes, "Do you know how hard it was to make these masks?" Because yes, I do, sir. I'm having trouble with it right now.
That's funny, dude.
Steve, you got to, I don't know where exactly. I forget where they were at, geographically, but you get moisture in the air. Shit's gonna go awry. True. It's really hard to dial in your X, Y, and Z planes. It's you know what I'm saying? It really depends on the filament you're using, and hours upon hours. Particularly, what are you going to do? You're going to do like a 0.16 layer height? You're going to do a 0.2? What are we doing here?
This guy.
You know what I'm saying? Now. What exactly are we doing here? And with this guy, I'm thinking with his rendering, he probably did a 0.16, probably like a layer height with maybe like a 40 millimeter type speed on it right there. It's, it's something like that because they look fantastic. But he says that. He goes, "You know how hard it is to make these masks?" Yes, I do, because they're fantastic masks. However, that's the only good thing about this movie. This movie is absolute trash. I don't recommend you watch it at all. And I'm going to go ahead and give it, 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 reasons to buy a 3D printer. That's it.
Jesus. That's it. This was, that's some of the lowest rating you've ever done.
Oh, this movie is straight up garbage, dude. Seriously, like, I know I can be hard on some of the horror genre movies, but I don't know. Take every single little trope that you get in these movies.
Yeah.
I won't say what they are because it's just like they're ticking boxes, basically, of everything all these movies are supposed to be filled with. And it just does not come off well. The ending is dumb. The climactic monologue of the killer is weak. It's just a terrible movie all the way around. So I personally say skip this one. Like I said, it's on Netflix. But if you have a kid that you're trying to get into these kind of movies, something that's a little bit on the tamer side, I would recommend it then. But it's still going to stink, but they might like it because this is not for anyone that actually enjoys good horror, slasher films, or anything like that. Absolute trash. You're welcome. I'm doing you a favor, man. I'm telling you. I'm doing you a favor.
Fantastic. I will not watch this movie.
Yeah, don't. Really, honestly. And then, real quick, I did another one that I actually kind of liked. It's called The Voyeurs on Amazon Prime Video. Now, I know you've heard of this one because we kind of talked about it a little bit here, but this one here, Pippa and Thomas move into their dream apartment, Steve. They notice that their windows look directly into the apartment opposite. This will set in motion a chain of events that will lead to disaster. And boy, does it, Steve. It's directed by Michael Mohan, written by Michael Mohan, stars Sydney Sweeney, Justice Smith, and Ben Hardy, not to mention, because she does have a lot of screen time, Natasha Lou Bordizzo. This was a fun movie. Someone told me to watch it, Faya, coworker. She said, "You know what? I think you'll like this movie." I know she knows why I would probably like this movie. I think Sydney Sweeney's pretty. Nah, don't perv me out. I think she's pretty, but the vocal fry drives me insane. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and watch it. Justice Smith is pretty good. So I don't have like super positive reviews about this. There's a few things that I could definitely knock down. For instance, Justice Smith, you know who he is, right?
Yes.
Justice Smith does this thing with his voice. I don't know exactly what he's going for here, but he has this affect on his voice where it's like if I was trying to make my voice sound deeper, but you totally know that it's not real.
Boy, that would drive me bonkers.
You get past it, but it's there. And but they play this couple, and you know it's kind of like a sexy movie because they start doing voyeuristic things, like they have these binoculars and they're looking across the way, and the couple across the way, one of them is a photographer. I'm not entirely sure what the other one did, but when the cat is away, meaning the wife, Mouse starts to play. You know what I'm saying? So like, the photographer invites a lot of people over for some photo sessions, and then you know what happens then. She just starts getting knocked loose. You know what I mean? But they're watching this go down, and you could tell she's starting to feel very, like she's getting turned on by it, but she's also becoming obsessed with it. And they figure out a way through Thomas's sister, Justice Smith, Thomas's sister, that she gives her a little bit of insight, like, hey, yeah, well, we were back in college. Dude was obsessed about this girl, and he figured out a way to use a laser pointer to, science, man. Send it over to a mirror, it bounces back, and somehow through magic and technology, we're able to hear what's going on in the room. Sounds illegal to me, but for sure. It's totally shady, but they say, let's do that. And then, of course, they learn so much more. This movie takes some twists and turns that I was actually kind of surprised with. It's not a bad movie. I was thinking that I was going to be looking at my phone a lot. I watched it at like 1 o'clock in the morning, started at 1 o'clock in the morning. And when I start movies that early, late, whatever you want to call it, I'm either falling asleep or I'm going for it. And I was surprised that I actually enjoyed this one. It's not going to make any top lists or anything like that. But if you're looking for a movie that's a little bit sexy, you know what I'm saying, tells a little bit of story, it's kind of a tamer type movie, check out The Voyeur on Amazon Prime. It's not bad. I kind of liked it, if I'm being honest with you, Steve. I'm
in.
Are you, though?
I mean, look, dude, it doesn't look like a bad movie. She's a little bit,
there's a lot of vocal fry going on.
But I like movies where you're just like, well, where is this going? And worst case, I could do like folding of the clothes while I'm watching.
You could totally fold your clothes while watching this movie.
And I won't be missing
Maybe make some spaghetti while you're watching the movie.
Oh, some spaghetti.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you eat? Like zucchini noodles. Do something like that.
Yeah, I could do that while I'm watching this one. And how long? Wait. What is the runtime?
The runtime, I can give that to you, sir. I actually have that information up.
If it's over 90 minutes, I don't think I could do it.
It's actually 2 hours long.
It's a 2-hour movie.
It is. And it, like most 2-hour movies, it can be condensed a little bit, but it's not bad. I thought I was just going to watch it. I knew why this person was telling me to watch this movie, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, when that's done, I'll go ahead and just check on out. But no, not the case. I watched the entire thing. Like I was wanting to know what happened at the end.
And did the end surprise you?
A little bit.
Hey.
Yeah, it's got a little twist in it that I'm like, oh, all right, that's fucked up, but it's got that kind of a twist to it. So IMDb rating is 5.9 out of 10. That's not too bad.
What are you rating it?
What am I going to rate this movie? For our rating system, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 2 out of 5 naughty laser pointers.
Now I'm going to have to watch it. That means it's right down the middle.
Yeah, do it. It's you've seen much worse. We might talk about much worse in a second. Sure, I don't know.
I'm very eager to hear what you, again, in the future.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we did skip over a bit of film news.
Well, then let's do it.
Black Adam trailer.
That came out yesterday, right?
It did.
With the DC fandom. I have not seen it yet. Is it worth watching?
Oh, never mind.
No, but is it worth watching?
It's more of a teaser. It shows his first kill.
Okay.
And it's pretty freaking
So
cool.
we see him in action then?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I will check that out. I won't even pause it and then give my thoughts on it. I will check that out afterwards.
Watch it later. There's nothing you can say. Like, it's a nothing thing. It's like, oh, we shot a scene and we've done the stuff with this scene, so let's show you the scene we shot.
Is it an equivalent to the picture they released of him recently? But just in video form?
No, it's actually him in his, you don't see him in his Black Adam outfit, but you see him outfitted,
What did you enjoy more, the Black Adam trailer or Rock's rap with Tech
Oh
Nine.
my God, dude.
Which one's better?
I have to go with the trailer.
Really? Okay. You were
Yeah.
a little higher on.
I was surprised.
We talked about this on
rapped.
Patreon, by the way. So if
Yeah.
it's, just if you don't know what we're talking about, it's coming from a Patreon conversation. But
I was just shocked. I was shocked he rapped is all. But this one, I think you're gonna want to. Obviously, we're all watching Black Adam because I could watch The Rock in anything. So I think it's right up his alley. This is what he was built to do.
I watched
This
Jungle Cruise
part.
and enjoyed it, dude. I'm gonna watch this.
I
movie.
liked it too.
It wasn't good, right?
I didn't exactly understand I had to just say, you know what? Fine, I'll accept this weird explanation about who he is or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Okay.
But I thought it was good.
Did you
I
get
thought it was fun.
the puns he was doing at the beginning?
Oh, that was so funny.
Do you understand why he was doing that?
I do not.
So you don't go to Disneyland, so I figured you probably wouldn't get that. When you go on the actual Jungle Cruise in Disneyland, they have their guide, who's usually like a 16-year-old girl or something like that. It's like their script that they do.
Oh, they do that?
Yeah, because the track's never going to change. It's the same thing 1,000 times a day, So they just have like these little puns and jokes that they do perfectly timed for when you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's what it was
I
doing.
wouldn't mind being a cruise leader.
Because somebody was, you know what? You would be a fantastic cruise leader. You are meant to work at Disneyland. Although I hear they treat their employees like shit. But like,
Of course.
But when I walked in and if I walked in and saw you and you were doing your thing, I think you'd be perfect. I would actually picture you walking down Main Street with a straw hat and a red and white striped shirt. Maybe, busting out a washboard or something like that. You know what I mean?
I would like to do the tram at Universal Studios. That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. Although I bet you when they get off, they're like, fuck this day.
Oh, for sure, dude. Because it's not like they get sick days. So you're going to be like, if you're sick in the front and you have to stand up the whole time.
Yeah.
And then people
well, we all know you don't call in for
you.
anything ever.
Oh,
so
dude.
yeah, you would do that. I'd be out. I'd be like, nah, I'm staying
I would
home.
do it for a day. And probably within 3 rides, I'd be like, yo, I'm out.
Can someone come and get this kid? I'm tapping out.
I've been standing up for freaking 20 minutes.
My dogs are barking.
That's so fun. All right, what's the next movie?
Let's see. Well, we have a choice. I'm going to let you make the choice, Steve. These are the movies that we've watched this week. We watched VHS 94.
Okay.
We've watched Superhost, and I think we have to choose between those two before we go any further.
Okay, I'm going to pick the one you liked the least.
How do you know?
Because I have a feeling.
Did I send you the ratings on accident?
You did not know you did.
Okay.
You didn't.
All right.
I'm going to go Superhost first.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
With their follower count dwindling, travel vloggers Teddy and Claire pivot to creating viral content around their most recent superhost, Rebecca, who wants more from the duo than a great review. What's a superhost? I don't know. Does everyone know what a superhost is? It's like an Airbnb.
I didn't think it was a real thing.
No, I think if you have like an Airbnb and you get so many visits and positive reviews, you become a superhost.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how I took it. Never stayed in an Airbnb. I probably never will, especially after this goddamn movie. But
man,
you know what I'm saying? But it stars is written by directed and written by Brandon Christensen. Stars Sarah Canning, Osric Chow, and Gracie Gillum. Sarah Canning.
Go ahead.
Actually, you know what? Sarah Canning's not the one I was talking about. Gracie Gillum is the one that I really want to talk about. She's the one that plays Rebecca in this, who is the super host in question.
Yes.
Dude, I think we might have a little star on our hands here.
I think for sure we have a star on our hand.
Uh-huh.
Like she didn't. After the movie, I said, I believed that she was crazy.
Yes. She does crazy so freaking well. And this movie for me, don't get me wrong, I'm going to tell you right now, I liked this movie quite a bit, actually. I found it very entertaining. Upon your recommendation. And because it was you told me that Blitz Berlin. You guys remember Blitz Berlin? We talked to Blitz we talked to Blitz Berlin when we were doing
a great job.
When we were doing we were with Brian and we were doing the whole talk about Psycho Gorman. But they do the soundtrack to this. And so that piqued my interest to begin with. But when I went into this, I can usually tell, like, I think you know what I like and what I don't like. Of course. And the way that you sold this to me told me that I needed to watch this movie. And of course you were absolutely right. It's kind of a fantastic little movie, dude.
It's fun. Dude, it is so, because the thing is, not to ruin it for anybody, ladies and gentlemen, but there's always one person in the couple that is just like, no, something is very, very wrong here. And the other was like, oh, come on. But this situation, I see why one of them will be like, no, people are just weird that way. I could totally see how it would put my hairs on end, but I would have been like, you know what, maybe they're just different. There's different people in the world, but it goes interestingly after a while. And then Barbara Crampton makes a random appearance in the movie. I was like, hey, she's like, hey, how are you?
Hey.
Hey. But it was just it's your review. Tell me your
Why is it my review?
I already told people kind of I liked it.
On Patreon.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, come on, man. Let me hear what you got.
Well, it was one of those movies where I said, I know where this movie's going. No question.
Yeah.
But then when the movie, it's how they get to where they're going. I was like, oh, I'm in. There are certain parts where I'm like, not many, some actresses they don't commit. This actress committed all the way, even on a little video vlog interview they do in the movie. I was like, man, she's going 120%. She is in. They told her the character, and she's like, okay, well, then let's rock and roll. And man, she committed to crazy, bro.
Absolutely.
Absolute. And then there's some actual creepy moments where you're like, what is happening right now? Like, how this house that they're in. And I know this movie's budget couldn't have been that much. They just made a lot with what they had.
Yeah.
It was just a really smart idea.
Great production design.
Great production design, dude.
Great makeup. Even the wardrobe was fine. Nothing fantastic, but everything just seemed legitimate. You know what I mean? Like this could truly happen. It's no question. It is quite far fetched, but crazier shit's happened, I'm sure. But I know what you mean. I don't know if you're talking about this particular scene, but there is a scene towards the end when shit's going down, and it involves like the big room in the house, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the antagonist is basically watching them through the window.
Oh, Jesus.
And just staring at them, covered in blood.
Oh, shoot.
And then she does that thing that for some reason always jacks with me in movies, which is in a good way, of course, is she takes off running real fast and out of sight. Where's she going? How does she get there? How does she get in here? There's a lot going on in this movie, and you're going to ask yourself these questions. You're like, okay, where's the entry point? You know what I mean? You'll know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Oh, yes. And then later on, you realize, it's just a lot of, they really tried to wrap it up. They're like, I know what you're thinking you're going to ask. And then later on, you're like, oh, that's what. And man, when you find out what's been happening this whole time and where certain people have been you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. How certain people name themselves. And
dude.
It was a really fun movie. I think you and I both know that this isn't going to be an Oscar winner by any means.
Hell no.
But it's really, really fun, particularly this time of year. So if you have it,
yeah.
It's on Shudder. So you're going to need Shudder or a creative way of getting this movie. But if you do stumble across Superhost, I highly suggest you watch this one. It was basically jam-packed with fun the entire time.
Oh, no. And I can't wait to follow this director. Like, what's next? If someone gives them a budget, I think, but some directors, they shouldn't get the budget. They should be like, do what you're doing now. Don't even get all this money. Keep doing what you're doing and just make it happen because they're really good with this amount of money. I mean, and one thing you guys will like is this dude that's in one of the protagonists is not a superhero. At all.
Yeah, that made it
He's
more
a
real.
Normal person. Yes, exactly. He's a normal person.
Exactly, because usually when you have a certain movie with a particular type of formula, something like this, your protagonist tends to, bulk up towards the end a little bit.
Exactly, dude.
And this dude's like, nah. He's like, you know what? You're on your own. I'm going to be over here.
And they're like, hey, we got to go outside. And he looks as scared.
Yeah.
As it there's a point where he's like, hey, go check and see what that noise is. He's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, he's not a big man. He's, I'm just saying he's small in stature.
Yes.
And it made it more real for me for him to just be like, nope.
No, I'm not freaking Jason Bourne. What am I going to do if I find the sound?
Haven't you seen these movies? I know what's going to happen. Yeah, he's not having that at all. But
I love that. But I will give the rating I'm giving it is an easy 2.75 out of 5 Uh, proposals.
Okay, I'll take it. We're the same numerically. It's 2.75 out of 5 crazy eyes for me.
Oh, dude, she's
fantastic.
Can't wait to see what she does next.
Yeah,
dude. She's so good.
I really hope that she gets something that allows her to really like expand her acting talents, because I don't think we've seen her best work yet. Could be wrong.
Oh, no.
Maybe this was it. I don't think I'm wrong though. Like there's just something radiates off this actress.
For sure.
And I think that she deserves all the accolades for this movie. I really do.
Like if she blows up, both of us are gonna be like, yeah, no surprise. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, we saw it as
I'd be like,
or we'll be watching a movie and we'll be like, hey, doesn't she look we're gonna both be like, doesn't she look familiar? And we're, oh my God, that's Homegirl.
That's when I refer you to episode 171 of Heroes of Noise.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So you remember that number. That way, if you ever have to pass
for
it
sure.
on.
Just like when I talk about Gwendolyn Christie, I'm like, oh no, she's gonna be like,
yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
We'll see. This still has. We'll see. I'm not knocking her acting, dude. Don't try to turn it into something like that. It's not that at all.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just glad that I'm not
on the show. I'm going to refer to this.
Okay, yeah, work on that. I'm just glad that in the past I'm not the only one. I think it was Jake. I think Jake from
for sure it was
PCL.
Jake.
He said that's the most something like that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard. I love Jake and his honesty, man. He is not fucking around.
It was so funny.
Yeah. So
all right, what's next?
Yeah, Superhost, ladies and gentlemen, check that one out. All right, let's move back up the list, Steve, and we'll talk about a movie that is also on Shudder. And from what I have heard is there's a lot of word of mouth about this movie. Which is the reason because I had a couple to choose from. I still haven't watched The Manor, by the way. I need to do that.
Oh yeah.
So I chose between The Manor and I chose between The Manor and VHS 94 is the movie that we're talking about. So let's get that one pulled up here. All right. So this comes from I'm going to tell you right now, full disclosure, I don't think I've ever seen a VHS movie. They're all
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I'll take my licks on that one. But is it like the same type of a situation for each movie?
Yes.
Found footage type of a situation that we may not even know who the hell's watching this found footage. All right.
Yes. First and second one were just, my Lord, so good.
A police SWAT team investigates about a mysterious VHS tape and discovers a sinister cult that is pre-recorded material which uncovers a nightmarish conspiracy. It's there's multiple directors in this here. Simon Barrett, he does the segment of The Empty Wake. Steven Kostanski, Steve. Does that name ring a bell? It should. Before I say it, any guesses?
No.
Mr. Kostanski was the director and the makeup for Psycho Gorman.
Shut up.
Okay, I'll stop right now.
That is so cool. Here's the weird part. Psycho Gorman, Superhost, Blitz Berlin, tie it all together.
See how we do that?
That's crazy.
We planned it that way, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we get when you come onto the Heroes of Noise.
That's what you get.
That's what you get, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But his segment was the Veggie Masher. Do you recall that one?
The Veggie Master. Which one? Wow. What would they call? What segment would be called that? Veggie Master?
Masher, as in like mashed potatoes.
Okay. There we go.
And then, of course, there's Simon Barrett, who was the writer for The Empty Wake. These names don't really mean a lot to me when it comes to this particular movie, but basically what you're looking at is it's just it's like watching I don't want to say like an anthology type of a situation, but you have these multiple stories and they all tie in together in one way, shape, or form at the end. And I will tell you that I didn't know what to expect because I haven't really seen a VHS movie before. So I'm going to kind of grade this one into its genre. Like this movie definitely has a certain genre where you have independent filmmakers doing these movies, I imagine on a pretty, shoestring budget. I don't know how much this movie cost to make, but
yeah,
it's making something out of nothing, basically.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of horror movies that come out. I mean, they're all over the place, but this time of year, you start to see a lot of that. You can tell that it doesn't have a huge budget. Maybe the visuals aren't quite on par. And whereas you have like a lot of gore, which this movie is just chock full of gore, you have to appreciate the practical effects with what they have to work with. Does that make sense, Steve?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they're doing a lot with a little in this movie.
Yes.
And what I took from this movie mostly was I appreciated all the practical effects and the sets and everything like that. As far as the stories go, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure that I like completely enjoyed this movie. But again, if I'm watching it through the lens of that type of a low budget horror movie, it's okay. I know that might be a little bit like confusing as far as like what the hell's Dan talking about. But there are definitely some really cool things to take from this one, and some cool little story plots. It's just that sometimes I don't know if exactly the acting really sold it to me. You know, let me ask you a question. What was your favorite segment?
Easily the vampire one.
Yeah. Any particular reason other than the obvious?
Oh, you know what? No. Empty Wake. I really liked Empty Wake.
Are we talking about the Indonesian crazy man?
No. It's the one.
Oh, no. The Empty Wake. I'm sorry, dude. I just completely blanked. The Empty Wake is, yes, exactly that. It is the wakes.
I really like that one.
Yeah, I completely blanked for a second. And by the way, Steve, they do call them, I remember the titles are there in one, I think maybe in the credits perhaps. But the Empty Wake was my favorite one. That was
creepy as hell.
Yeah. Because let's take all of the supernatural stuff out of it. If I had to have that job that woman has, which is basically watch, when people die and they have wakes, someone has to oversee the wake so they can close up shop when they're done, make sure no one's messing with the corpse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so this woman has this, it's in the middle of was it a hurricane? I think it was a hurricane.
Yes.
Middle of a hurricane. So no one's coming to this thing, right? And she's sitting there in this empty room with this coffin. Jesus. And, that alone would freak me out. I'm not afraid of the dead. I see dead people all the freaking time in my line of work. But when you put it into a funeral type setting, when you put a coffin in there, something's going to jack with me a little bit. I don't know why.
And the light's not working.
Light's not working.
Yeah.
But so and then you also have to with these movies, because they are found footage movies. You have to, quote unquote found footage movies. You sort of have to do the suspension of disbelief in the fact that, wow, they just got all the good angles. It's like you have to be forgiving with that, because if you just go into it, this is bullshit. Obviously, it's bullshit. But if you go into it, you're going to hate the movie. So you kind of have to just go in with this one sort of empty-handed and just let shit happen. But yes, the Empty Wake was super dope, and the way that particular segment ends,
dude,
is horrifying. To be quite honest, it's horrifying. I don't know what it is. Like, I could watch a lot of horror movies, but that one genuinely creeped me out.
Oh, there's no question. Like, I think it's a universal thing where people are just like, that was a legitimately creepy like, because one dude on Twitter was like, I was good, it was fine, but he's like, I had the lights off, and that Empty Wake Empty Wake segment really had him on pins and me. Like, whoa, I have to turn these lights on. That's spooky as hell.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, it was very well done. I am very happy that I if anything, just for that segment, I was like, Jesus, that's fantastic.
And then, like, we won't talk about each segment, but the one that we did refer to, which is at the end, involving a vampire. And I don't really, are we giving anything away on that one? Should I give a spoiler? We're kind of giving it away a little bit. So.
But you kind of catch it. Oh, that's true. You know what's funny? The first time I saw it, I thought I accidentally rewound it. Because something happens again.
Well, it goes,
and I'm like,
it goes in a different direction, kind of towards that last, right? I mean, I thought,
yeah, because they do something twice, and then you're like, did I accidentally rewind this thing?
Yeah.
And they just did this twice. But then after the third time, I said, oh, this person has some sort of thing that they keep on, and that's when I immediately was like, but around the same time is when something happens where you're like, oh, it's obviously this.
Right.
So I caught on when the segment wanted you to catch on.
Sure.
I wasn't ahead of the game.
Right. And so in that sense, I think we may have actually spoiled it slightly, but I will tell you that I don't think that and personally speaking, I don't think the story is so strong that we've truly ruined anything for you. You know what I mean? It's just it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
Some people may not like it. This is not going to be for everyone. I mean, you kind of have to like found footage movies to begin with. Yeah.
No CGI. You guys have to be okay.
Zero CGI.
A lot of practical, like old school.
Yes, low budget practical effects is there. So if and I think that this is going to relate for more of the older horror fans or tried and true horror fans that like
absolutely
all spectrum of, the whole spectrum of the genre. I think that this is the kind of movie that you'll gravitate to. I think that if you're just going into a movie and maybe perhaps there's someone inside your house is more your speed. I'm literally saying it. You may not like this movie. It's not going to be for everyone. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I found it to be quite entertaining.
Likewise.
So,
what's your rating?
I'm going to go ahead and give VHS 94 a 1.5 out of 5 exploding bunnies.
I will give it a 2 out of 5. A 2 out of 5 creative vampire effect.
Yeah, I know. And I had to actually freeze frame that to see what exactly was going on. I think there's a mask like that, very similar to over at the Spirit Halloween store right now. But yeah, very.
They were not playing with this is one of those things where if you showed up to the set, there are makeup trailers.
Yeah.
Just for the practical putting on stuff. Like that old school, Tom Savini type stuff. If you liked Dusk Till Dawn, you're gonna like this because of the masks and practical effects they use.
Yeah, not that they're really similar in storytelling, but I see what you're saying there. Yeah, but that's VHS 94. Check it out. I hear that the VHS movies. I did hear this part that the VHS movies start out strong, and then they kind of just dwindle as the time goes on. So you've seen them all.
Yes, I have.
So where does this one rank?
The first two go. This is right before the third one was the VHS. I forgot. Viral. That was the worst one.
Yeah, I heard that one was whack.
The best one. The second one was really good. Like both the first two VHS, if you watched them, you'd be like, "Oh, these are fantastic." You'd love them, dude.
What would be your favorite found footage movie?
Oh man, that's a fantastic question. My favorite found footage movie, it would have to be some zombie film. It would most likely be a zombie film, a found footage.
Were you a Blair Witch guy?
Oh, I thought it was terrible.
I kind of liked it because I think when I first saw it, I really didn't. I wasn't like, horror is my specialty. You know what I mean? So when I sat and watched this movie, I don't think I'd ever seen a found footage movie before. And the way that they played that one was semi-convincing. So yeah, I was kind of interested in that. That was my first, go around with found footage movies. So I got a little special place in my heart for that one.
I know I'm missing a found footage.
Oh, I'm missing a bunch of them. This is definitely your territory.
Hold on, I'm about to.
Well, found footage, wouldn't that kind of? Would you consider? And I'm not going to bash or anything like that, but the Monster Project, would you consider that a found footage movie?
That is a found footage movie.
Yeah. Guess what, Steve? I'm going to go back this time around. I'm really going to go. I've said it before. No, I've said it before, but I feel a little more positive and optimistic. I think I'm going to go back and try to watch that one again. Now that my horror chops are a little more, I've cut my teeth in the horror just a little bit more since we've been doing the show.
Well, it's funny. There are a few that I forgot. Searching was a good found footage movie.
Oh, Searching was good.
That was good.
Wait, that's the one. Searching was the one where he's looking for his daughter, right?
Bingo.
Yeah,
that's a really good one.
That movie ruled.
The Paranormal Activities are all pretty good.
Yes.
The Visit was good.
That's not a found footage. Oh, it kind of is.
Yeah, dude, that was a pretty good freaking movie.
Well, if we're throwing that one in, then that's my favorite. Chronicle. Another one, yeah.
Oh, I forgot a lot of these, dude.
I can never remember the name of that movie, Chronicle. I don't know why. That dude that plays like the main antagonist in that one that was also like the Green Goblin, I think, in another movie. In the Spider-Man Garfield. Wasn't he the Green Goblin or was he Hobgoblin?
Green Goblin? Oh, I might be wrong, dude.
I think he was Green Goblin. But yeah, I think I've only seen those Garfield movies like one a piece. But that dude's kind of freaky. And he comes up in conversation for some reason all the time. And I'm always like, oh, that guy from The Thing. I can never remember the name of Chronicle. So maybe I'll forget again. Who knows? Who cares?
What, we also didn't talk about Hell House. That's a found footage movie.
I have not seen Hell House.
Troll Hunter is a great found footage. Lake Mungo is a found. I gotta just send you a bunch of great horror found footage movies.
Steve, sounds like you're going to do an article on heroesofnoise.com recommending your favorite found footage movies. Am I right?
Oh, for sure. And Frankenstein's Army. Yeah, great. Or I'll just have a list of them on Facebook.
I would love that. But we'll put it on the I'll put it on the website.
Sure, so people could just rate it at a 10 out of. Anyway.
I'm sorry, Steve. I'm sorry, spoiler, Steve. I don't know what's going on with this guy.
That commercial is a 9. Have you ever seen Ajax in such a light?
Do you know if did he rate There's Someone Inside Your House?
Oh, no, but I sent you the Twitter link, though.
All right. He liked it?
Yeah.
He liked it, huh? We got to get Steve back on the show.
I would love to hear you guys, because he might convince you that it was good. He might be able to be like,
there's no fucking way he'll convince me that this is good. No. There's no way. That's insane.
You really did not like that movie.
I thought it was absolutely. Seriously, I will say that There's Someone Inside Your House is probably the worst movie I've seen this year.
Holy crap.
And if it's not literally that one, it's like right next to it. It's bad, dude.
Oh, you hated this movie.
I hated it. It was
You finished it just to see what was going to happen and maybe that it redeemed itself, and it did not.
Well, I just, I kind of judge it depends also, like, if you listen to the Patreon show, the last one recorded, I was super, super foggy and I was not feeling well. So when I'm foggy, it's hard to pay attention. That said, I had to go back and kind of watch a little bit just to give it a fair chance, because I will do that sometimes. And I didn't even get all the way through it again. I'm like, no, this movie is absolute trash.
All right.
So
well, there it is.
There it is.
All right,
there.
what's next?
The last review we're going to do is a movie that just came out this weekend. If you are afraid of going to the theater, guess what? You don't have to, because you can watch it on Peacock if you have premium, of course. And that's exactly what I did. I made that choice. It was like a last minute choice, and I'm glad I did, only for the fact that I was comfortable when I watched the movie. You know what I mean? The one that we're talking about is Halloween Kills, and it's the sequel to the 2018 Halloween. What would we call that? It's not necessarily a reboot. It's kind of and it's more of a sequel. Well, no, not necessarily, because the original Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, back in 1978, I believe.
Oh, it is a sequel.
It's a sequel. It's a direct sequel to that movie. You had a whole bunch of other Halloween movies, all the way up to I think the last one was maybe H2O, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a sequel to that.
I saw a lot of those movies, but none of them really grabbed me. The one with Busta, that one didn't grab me. None of them really did. Even the one with Jamie Lee Curtis's return didn't really grab me, but they're all entertaining in their own right.
Yeah, they're fine.
But 2018 comes around, and suddenly we've got like a whole new vibe of Halloween. Like Michael Myers is the. Oh yeah, by the way, there's the Rob Zombie movies, which I personally didn't care for. Did you? I'm sure you watched them.
I'm not a big Rob Zombie his directing style, but I appreciate that he keeps horror alive though.
Yeah, for sure. I respect that, but those movies didn't really grab me that much. It was kind of nice to see what Michael Myers looked like when he was a kid, a little bit closer. But other than that, I would say skip it. If you want to watch a solid Halloween movie, watch the first one and then go into Halloween 2018. Fantastic. Yes. We're not talking about that movie, but it's fan-fucking-tastic. I loved it. The kills were fantastic. The script, the way that the characters play off of each other, Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, everything's firing all cylinders with that movie. And it was one of my favorite horror movies in the last few years. Now we get to Halloween Kills. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. Saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode continues in the next thrilling chapter of the Halloween series, which is going to be a 3-part series. I believe the next one comes out in 2022 or 23, and it's Halloween Ends. It's going to be the conclusion to the trilogy. So here we are in the middle of it. Halloween Kills. Steve, I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Dan, so I go into this movie, my expectations were pretty high because I just love my horror. Michael Myers is one of the, how they have the Universal monsters?
Yes.
Nowadays.
Mount Rushmore of horror.
Yes. Nowadays it's like Freddy, Jason, Michael. Like those are the nowadays Rushmore guys. Like they're major. Dan, this may be one of my favorite horror movies of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No question. It might be. I have not yelled at a screen. And here's the sad part. You're not supposed to root for Michael Myers.
Uh-huh.
There's a point in this movie where I started to root for him. Being like, oh, this shouldn't happen like this.
I know what you're talking about.
I felt a little uncomfortable. I don't know why I felt uncomfortable, but it's like a group of people that if anyone else was in the middle of this group, it could go another way. I'm like, I think you guys are getting a little bit anyway. And so I was just like, I'm kind of rooting for Miguel. And so
Miguel Mayer.
And so, dude, I had so much fun and here, let me tell you something. Every single scene that Michael Myers is in this movie is a poster. Whatever stance he's in.
Yeah, he's stunning looking. Scary as hell.
Stunning, dude. The way they have his mask, the way they light him. There's a part where you're just like, oh, this is a psycho. Where he's picking a knife to use and the way he does it. I'm like, oh, dude, this is how you show a person that you're crazy. where you're just stabbing things into something until you find the knife you like. Yeah. I'm like, this man is crazy. But I totally had fun with this movie. After it was over, I was tempted. I just never do this. But I was like, there's not a question I'm going to watch that again. I just thought it was great. It really set up the sheer power of this thing that we're dealing with. And I love how at the end, they kind of reckon with a reality that a lot of other movies have not, where it's just like, what are we dealing with here? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, what are we dealing with? Because anyway, not to ruin anything, I loved it. What did you think?
Steve, I really didn't like this movie at all. I tried, man. You know I love me some Halloween.
Of course,
you
dude.
know I do. When we
Yes.
did we not have so much fucking fun when we went to
We
Halloween
had
Horror
a
Nights
ball.
in the
Absolutely.
Halloween maze? It was fantastic.
Absolutely.
We're shrieking like little girls in there. I love Michael Myers, okay? Absolutely. It was one of the most iconic characters in horror, period.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I hated this movie, but there was a lot to be disliked in this movie for me personally. Yes. And
okay.
I will go back and watch it again just because, we got a prescription, Lord have mercy. We have a subscription to Peacock and I want to go ahead and just watch it again,
Yeah.
And maybe I'll think differently the next time around. But here's the thing that kind of got me about this one. And please correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
Okay.
Set me in the right direction. I'm serious about this when I say this. So Michael Myers, or Miguel Myers, as we called him earlier, he's like, he's known for the slow walk. That was like a very, very characteristic trait of like
Absolutely.
80s, like Jason. Jason was kind of quick, but he still slow walked too. But that's a thing that they did in these movies. And I've always kind of found that cool. Even if it's like, how does he get in? How's he catching up to him? This guy's just walking down the street. How's he catching up? I still liked that.
Absolutely.
He is on steroids in this movie, in my opinion.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Are you can correct me, please?
We're going to have to push a pause. For people who haven't seen it, it would be a spoiler, a major spoiler.
For what I just said? He's not literally on steroids.
No, what I'm about to say.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. So he's not on steroids, ladies and gentlemen. Stay away from this.
No. But what I say to let you know what's happening, it would be a ruiner for people that don't know what's going to happen at the end of the movie.
All right. Well, I'll try my best to not spoil anything because it is very, very new. I just felt that it was like a supercharged version of Michael Myers versus what I recall seeing. There's lots of sequels, and like I said, we're staying canon with this one, and we're only counting the first, and then the last one that just happened. Rather, sorry, I'm losing my breath again. But there were some disappointing things in this one where it's like, Laurie Strode is not really in this movie very much.
Not at all.
And I don't think that's a spoiler. It's just a truth.
No,
She's
just
not
facts. Yeah.
Because if you recall from the last one, they had the big climax, the house was burning and they're taking her to the hospital. You see that in the trailer where she's like, let it burn.
Yes.
That trailer had me so hyped, bro. So hyped.
Listen.
And we get into this one and I can't quite put my finger on it, man, but there was just certain things about this one that kind of got to me. And another thing is, it kind of took that, getting back to Scream, it kind of took like a Scream turn on you a little bit because, it has to do with, and this happens a lot in certain franchises, maybe like your third, your fourth movie, you start getting to this thing where like the group of people are getting together and it's like, old school Frankenstein. The townspeople are getting together and going to go after somebody.
Yes.
And the way that was executed, and the leader of all of this, who was Tommy, what was his last name? I can't even think of it. Anyway, it's played by he's played by Anthony Michael Hall. But Tommy, son of a bitch, I can't think of his name right now. Hold on.
I got you.
Tommy Doyle is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So you're going to see in this movie a lot of like, oh, hey, there's that person. They take the original people and they did a very good like Donald Pleasance impersonator. They bring these people into the movie and you do see like what I thought was kind of cool was like the night that they literally first caught Michael Myers. You see that scene and there are some flashbacks that go down and stuff. But when you see the Tommy Doyle, for instance, in his adult form, and here's a good example. They got a little bit of like It Part 2 on me in this one. Do you know what I'm saying? The youngsters come back and they're going to go and defeat, the big bad and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. That's totally okay. I mean, I really wanted to see more of like the Laurie Strode part, but I have a feeling we're going to get that in the next one. Though there was an interview with her recently where she said that Halloween fans are going to be angry. I don't know if that's a way to sell a movie, but that's what she said. So take that with a grain of salt, and we'll see what happens in a couple of years. So anyway, it's the way that, I'll just say it, Steve. You know, when you start getting a lot of white people and they're chanting and stuff, and they're all in a group, and it looks like January 6th, I got turned off by that.
I started rooting a little bit.
Yeah,
homie.
that's when it gets ridiculous in this part.
But it wasn't on purpose. They knew you're not going to like what's happening, and you're going to end up rooting for this terrible situation.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
And you know what? I'm taking that into consideration because I really never looked at it never. I watched it yesterday, but I didn't look at it from that angle of, hey, maybe we're supposed to root for the bad guy on this one, because you will. I think you will. If you are a fan of the movie, and particularly Michael Myers, you're going to start rooting for him. You're totally right about that, Steve. But why would we give all those people guns? You know, it was the logic of it, man. It was just like, let's just give everyone that has never shot a gun the most dangerous gun that they could possibly be holding right now. You know, within reason, of course.
Of course.
And then this whole mob.
It's kind of like America.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Everyone has, doesn't matter if you should or not, you got one.
And I really, really don't want to throw any type of politics into this, but I can't help but notice that I really feel that was intentional. That was an intentional nod to like a January 6th type situation, in my opinion. And I'm not going to go down that road anymore, but it gave me that vibe.
You think this wasn't?
Yeah.
Because they make you not like them from a previous scene. How crazy they are.
I could say the same thing, by the way, about VHS 94, the final segment.
Dude, most things are this.
Yeah.
Like right now, you can't escape it.
Yeah,
and so
it's just
directors are like, you know what? I'm going to put this into my... And I hope they catch it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The Purge does it fantastic, you know? So, but, all politics aside, I just felt that the way that they carried out the mob mentality, like the way the mob actually behaved.
Yes.
Now, granted, there are no civil mobs, right? Like you're not going to have your biggest thinkers in a mob situation. So, and trust me, it's just full of mouth breathers in this scene. I just found that to be very, very cheesy. The way that these people, I was cool with it. Like I could totally deal with that. Okay, there's a mob and that's what's going on in this movie. But then the script starts getting involved. And what got me the most was the catchphrase of this fucking movie, which was "Evil dies tonight." And the way that these people keep saying it. And I don't know. I mean, I don't just watch this movie. I'm not saying don't watch this movie, folks.
I'm with you.
You should watch this movie. I'll tell you that, particularly if you like the Halloween franchise. But the way that they are carried out, the way that these people are just keep going, "Evil dies tonight," really fucking I just thought it was really stupid, to be honest with you. I thought it was the worst part of the movie. The mob was the worst part of this movie. And here's the other thing that I don't necessarily dislike, but I have to acknowledge, getting back to what I was saying earlier, this is Michael Myers on steroids in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but I think he's going about his killings more creatively now, more so like in the sense of even though he's already in the Rushmore, as we put it, he's taking almost like late Friday the 13th, late Nightmare on Elm Street type liberties in his killings, and he's getting very creative, almost having fun with it. And I just like me some violent Michael Myers. I liked the violence in the Halloween from 2018. Because he was still a psychopath, still extremely, extremely violent and effective. But in this one, it's like he had more personality. And I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm going to have to watch it again to really get my true sense of where this franchise is going. But to me, I found myself getting pissed off a lot in this movie. Not pissed off like a movie nerd, but just like, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I even said like, more like Halloween kills the franchise. I said that at the end because I'm a witty guy, Steve. But
of course.
So I'm not entirely sure I liked this movie. I don't think I did. You know what I mean? But I will say that they are doing something different with Michael Myers now, and I'm curious where it's going to go. There's a particular scene that you brought up that has to do with knives. And like, that's kind of like a first for him, right? As far as how he went about that.
Yeah. And again, when we get into spoilers, I'm going to talk about that speech that she gave at the end
Yeah.
that kind of told everybody, this is why this movie has been like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Okay, I will talk about that too, because that was actually another thing that kind of pissed me off a little bit. So let's get into spoilers and we'll wrap this show up.
Oh, what did you rate it?
What did I rate this movie? I don't think I'm going to change my rating. Sometimes I like to get talked into things and, maybe I'll change my rating. However, I'm going to give Halloween Kills a 2.25 out of 5 human knife blocks.
I will give Halloween Kills a 3 out of 5. A 3 out of 5 human knife blocks.
You took that right. Same thing. Human knife blocks it is. So you're going to like that scene, apparently, ladies and gentlemen. I will say that my rating comes more so from the production design of the movie, the type of kills that are involved. But if we're going to start adding in the plot and the acting in this movie, then I may go lower, to be quite honest with you. It's all around the practical effects and the just the history. I think I'm being a little more generous because I love Halloween so much.
Oh no, I'm with, and that there's a head kill that this kid.
The stairwell?
Oh,
is it the stairwell one?
Yes,
that was dope.
That was brutal.
And I like that kind of stuff. It was just the whole, I'm trying to think.
Jesus.
What was the one that really, I think I hit the microphone. Sorry about that. What was I'm trying to think of one of the most like outrageous kills of the movie.
That was the one for me where I was just like, they went like the Adam's apple. Every time he hit it, I was like, oh, Jesus, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And like, he's just a brutal. But anyway, let's get into spoilers.
All right, let's do it. What do you got?
Okay, so what I loved about it is at the end, she's like, he's not human. He's because he said no human could have taken what we've given him. The gunshots, the things, all this. He's like, this is evil incarnate. And even if we do something tonight, he's just going to come back next year. And he's going to keep on coming. Every time you open the door in your room, there he is. And I'm like, oh, they're going full on. He's a monster. Mm-hmm. He's not human. And I was like, oh my. That's why when he got shot and he got back up, I was like, wait a minute, what? And when she's talking, she's like, he's not human. All this time we've been going at this as if this is a human being. And he's not anymore. He's evil. Evil incarnate. And not blaming themselves that they created this thing. They're like, it's kind of on us.
Yeah.
We're not, I don't know. She admitted, I don't know how we do this. And I like the fact that she's not like, I know what we'll do. No, she's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. What are we going to do? I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. You're just like, we have to get rid of him somehow. I don't know. He's a monster. What do we do? I don't know. Okay. And I love that. And it also made me retroactively think, like, he wasn't dodging the gun. I was like, why was he even dodge the gunshots? I'm like, because he's not worried about them. He's a monster.
Yeah.
Like he should. So they went full on, hey, and honestly, like I could understand why fans are like, I hated that monster turn. I totally get it. Me being a monster lover and being that he's on the Rushmore of monsters, I'm like, hey, good. Now let's see how you beat him. Like at the end of this movie, I was literally like, how are y'all gonna beat that? That's why I'm gonna watch the next one. Okay. Like, how do you beat that thing? It's not gonna be brute force. You just can't. You can't beat Michael Myers to death. You have to do something else. And I just don't know what that's gonna be. But I'm very curious as to how it's gonna roll.
Okay. So, okay. I know.
He was a beat. Just like, that's why when he kept on catching up to people, I'm like, oh my God, it's because he's not human. That's why he can walk and catch up to. He's like, yeah, we've been going about this like he's a human. And so he's going to beat us every time.
Okay.
And she understands that now. She's like, but again, if she would have been like, so I'm going to do this and we're going to do this. And I would have been like, but the fact that she just looked at the like looks outside and just like, I don't know, G.
I wish she would have actually said that. I don't know, Jay.
Like she just looked, and the thing is, she doesn't even know her daughter's dead. She's gone, and she's just like, "What are you gonna do,
man?"
He's going through everybody. He's like, "I'm gonna kill this town, nigga.
Yeah,
I'm killing everybody in this town. Next, and the only person that's gonna be last, I'm gonna call it last man standing is going to be the police officer.
Yeah, I think so too.
He said, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to kill him.
I feel the same way. I think that, I have no way of knowing this, but Laurie Strode's going to die that martyr's death.
Absolutely.
For sure.
question.
There's no way around that. She's going to die
way.
that martyr's death. Her whole family's gone at this point. But the thing that you liked about that movie were her speech is also a major turnoff to me because, yeah, here's why. I've always, he's Rushmore, but I've never considered him a Rushmore monster, as you put it. I just always liked Michael Myers because we didn't truly know that. Do you know what I'm saying? We
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, how does this guy keep getting up? I get it. There's probably
But we did know.
We did, but
because no human could do what he did.
Exactly, but I liked the mystery of it. And I liked, and the thing was, if you go back to the first one and then you go to 2018, he's been living as a human the whole time.
Absolutely.
He was in a mental institution for 20, 30 years or something like that? Mm-hmm. He was fine there. And then he gets out and suddenly he's got superpowers. And he's fighting groups of people. And I don't think I've ever seen Michael Myers do that before where he's
but he's always people have beaten him terribly in other movies.
Yeah. But he was getting kind of Statham-like in this one. You know what I mean? He was
Remember, he got the thing is, he got shot. After getting shot 3 times,
yeah.
That's when I knew, okay. But it's while she's talking, he gets up. And so I'm like, oh, they're going for the... And the thing is, I understand why she said it. She has to... The fact that we all knew subconsciously that he's a monster... In order for her to beat him, she has to come to that conclusion herself too. Okay, he's not human. Because otherwise we're just going to have Halloween 84. Because she's gonna keep on trying to beat him like a human being. And she's just finally came to the realization because it's coming to a close. So she's like, okay, here's what we know. This cat is not human.
Yeah.
This is what we know now. That's the only way she beats him in the next movie. Otherwise, she's going to do what she did and he's going to beat her because he's not a human being. In order for her to beat him in that one more film, she has to come to the conclusion he is a monster. That's it. So how do you beat a monster? You can't beat Freddy. You can't beat Freddy head up. You can't beat... Remember, Jason started out as a dude and then he turned into a monster. He turned into Jason.
But he was kind of a monster from the get-go. He was a kid that drowned and came back to life. You know what I mean? Michael Myers, hear me out. Yeah, Michael Myers is just a troubled kid that killed his sister and got sent away to the mental institution for, after I really did like the flashback that shows them apprehending him for the first time. I thought that was actually kind of cool. But again, he lived as a human for decades. Yeah. And then even into 2018, and then all of a sudden he's got superpowers. And the thing that kind of got me about that, it was Laurie Strode the entire time was like, why won't you die? Blah, blah, blah. But then she has a full-on prepared speech about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it,
He's evil. He is evil incarnate.
I don't know, man. I'm not.
I get it. For me, it worked because I was just like, oh my God, he is going. That's why, and it's also happening while I don't want psychopaths, mind you. But while I was rooting for him to get up to this crowd that kind of made me uncomfortable anyway with their chants.
Yeah.
When he got up, I was like, oh, I stood up because she was like, he's evil. He's not a human. I was like, no, he ain't a human. This cat is a monster, cuz it's over. And sure enough, he goes and he dispatches every one of them. And so I'm like, oh, look at Michael Myers. But then at the end, I'm back on the side of, someone needs to kill this cat. After he kills off, I'm like, someone needs to, because they knew if they left it like that, we're kind of walking out of the movie being like, do I want Michael Myers to die? I mean, you know what I'm saying? But once they leave it as he just killed this poor girl that was really just trying to save the town. Now you're back on the don't forget he's a freaking monster. And that's why I was just like, wow, this is going to be insane. The next one's going to be bonkers, dude.
This movie's not a terrible movie. It's just that I think the reason that I didn't enjoy it as much as you did is because we've already kind of gone round and round about it, is that I preferred the whole, is he or isn't he? I don't need an explanation. I just like watching this dude.
You like the mystery.
I like the mystery. I like watching
I don't
this
like
dude
mystery.
do damage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just all got wrapped up. And then again, though, but the worst part of this movie for me was the town folks and they're the evil dies tonight. It was so fucking stupid. And just the suddenly everyone is violent. I get that there's situations.
that.
No, hear me out. I get that there's situations, I'm sure, where it's like, listen, we got to do something about this fucking problem. I get that. It was the way that it was the script. It just made it very cheesy for me. And you know what? There's probably a bunch of people that disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But I have a feeling.
Oh, no. I think a lot of people, well, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
I feel like this movie's going to be very divisive.
Absolutely, dude. As you've seen already, it's not it was okay. Either you hate it or you love it.
Yeah.
And that's a conscious decision by a director. I'm shocked that the studio actually because they watched it, they were probably like, oh, people are either they're gonna either love this or they're going to despise it. And I just think it takes, regardless, it takes heart to be like, oh, it's not going to be down the middle. We're going to go a full one way or the other. Regardless, I guarantee after the next movie, for sure, Michael Myers is on the Rushmore of monsters. It's a shame we don't have a werewolf to put on the Rushmore of monsters. Oh, we do. Well, technically, he's one of the Universal monsters. But yeah, it's going to be Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger. They're in my opinion, unless maybe somebody will bring out someone I forgot about, they are our Rushmore of horror now.
Well, I'm really depending on Art the Clown here, man, to do things right and restore balance to the Force, because this movie was fine. I didn't hate it. I just didn't enjoy it for several different reasons, but I'm not out. I'm not tapping out. We've been talking about spoilers, Steve, so I do want to give him a little shout out because I gave him some shit on Twitter, jokingly, of course. But he says, this was 2 days ago on Twitter, he says, Halloween Kills has some great cinematography and first two acts are fairly decent. But man, that third act, horrendous is too nice of a term to use to describe this film. So in a sense, I don't think the film is horrendous. I didn't enjoy it like you did. But I totally agree with him on the third act. And I just said, so you're saying we're going to love it then? And then, of course, he went back and forth.
So it's a 10.
Probably. No, he does not like this movie. So in other words, I feel like I was prepared to give this movie a 5 because I don't disagree with everything Steve says, of course, but we do have some varying opinions when it comes to movies, of course, as you well aware.
For sure.
So, and I was only giving him shit anyway. Just
the last
the guy.
5 horror movie, I don't think that I've given a 5 to. I don't remember, but it has to be maybe a 28. Did I give 28 Days? Maybe I would give that. Something in that.
Train to Busan's a 5.
Oh, that's a 5 for sure. You know what? Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Every time that movie comes on, I watch it. I don't turn it off. I watch it all the way through, and then at the end of the movie, I'm like, I forgot how good this movie. Every time it goes, I'm like, I forgot how fun this movie was.
Yeah, I enjoy that movie too.
Fun every single time. So yeah. Oh no, that's a 4. That's a 4 point. That's a 4. That's not a 5. Train to Busan is a 5. As a matter of fact, I might, as far as in horror, I might call the 5 a Train to Busan.
For sure, it's a 5 for me.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we have difference of opinions. Interested to hear you guys' opinion.
For sure. Yeah, you want to hit us up. You know what? I was going to try and do the wacky little song now I do, but for the contact information. Recently had an iOS upgrade, and all my shit's not working right now. So,
that's how they do, G.
Those motherfuckers, man. I'm telling you what. But so if you want to get a hold of the show, hit us up at heroesofnoisepodcast@gmail.com. All right, heroesofnoisepodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us on Twitter at Heroes of Noise. You can reach me, Dan, at DanQPublic, and Steve at SE_Hudson Music. Go to our website, www.heroesofnoise.com. There you can subscribe to the show, leave us a message, and do all that cool shit that people do when they go to websites. All right? I think that's a wrap, Steve.
That's it.
I think that is it. We hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're going to be talking more horror as the month goes along. Look forward to Geek Out Freak Out, which is going to be right around Halloween. Halloween is on a Sunday, Steve. We could put that out on the day if we wanted to, being that we're not going anywhere now. So that's what we're shooting for, a Halloween debut of Geek Out Freak Out 3, actually, is going to be that one.
And
we skipped
Dan's amazing story.
Maybe. I don't have it yet. We'll see what happens. You need to come up with something too, man. I'm just saying. Because you come up with some fresh shit sometimes, and I was really impressed. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening to the show. You know we love you. We'll be back soon, all right? Take care of yourself, all right? Because people are getting sick out there. Not only take care of yourself, but be good to yourself too, and be good to the people around you. Peace.